You want me to put that on my Tudor?
This one's wife. Failed. She shuts up shop. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Once upon a time, there was a mediocre actress that ran a blog. She would often post things on that blog to make it seem like she'd visited certain places, dined in certain restaurants, and bought certain clothing. Much of it was a performative act on her part, because she was a narcissist. Then one day, along came a dim-witted, fantapubed prince. He was a bit of a fuckwit, and tended to think with his todger. This was ideal for this one's wife, for as a consequence of her extensive experience catering to the needs of men on ocean-going vessels, she was perfectly capable as a used pleasure appliance of extending her ability to rope in the randy little ginger fucker. And lo, it came to pass, where apparently after 3 dates he fell in love with the used pleasure appliance. This then meant that this one's wife was able to embark upon a range of different activities. She failed at being a member of the royal family, as she couldn't hack it, and left after an inordinately short period of time. She failed at writing a book, as it was roundly ridiculed as not being suitable for children, resulting in a hilarious reading on YouTube, which received so many downvotes, YouTube were moved to hide them. She failed at being a fashion icon, as a consequence of her inability to recognise that certain clothing doesn't fit her, owing to the fact that she looks like SpongeBob SquarePants, that she doesn't possess an iron, and never listens to any fashion advice. She failed at being the face of various cosmetic giants, because they realised that she was a horrible person and they didn't want to be associated with her. She failed at penetrating the A-list, because the A-list took one look at her and thought, you're a Janie-come-lately who's got nothing about you other than the ability to complain and whinge and play the victim. We've worked to get where we have. You're not one of us. She failed at launching something called American Riviera Orchard. It was so rubbish, it didn't sell one thing. She failed in relation to As Ever, a Potemkin business which produces no sales figures and basically has an Instagram account that bores the tits off people on a daily basis, putting pictures of micro-influencers who apparently have purchased flour sprinkles, cookies and crepes. She's failed at being a broadcaster because she doesn't listen to anybody, has no interviewing skills, and just wants to talk about herself, resulting in Spotify ending the contract with her, calling her a fucking grifter, and Lemonada then just utilising her for some publicity and then parting company with her. She's failed as a content creator because she lacks imagination, she's lazy, and once again needs to make it all about her, which, when you're making it all about somebody who is a charisma-free zone with no talent or ability, it becomes very boring very quickly. This one's wife had failed at many different things, but as a consequence of the blindness of her narcissism, it made her believe that she was a success, because there was a little voice telling her that she was brilliant and marvellous and wonderful and a saint that had been placed on the planet to make the lives of the proletariat much better. Each and every time something went tits up, the little voice told her, don't worry, it's not your fault, it's because it wasn't marketed properly, or you weren't advised properly, or it's because Harry's shadow overcast it, or Harry said the stupid things, or Harry was juggling outside the window. Each and every time, she was reminded that any failure was not as a consequence of her inability, shortcomings, or unpopularity, but the vicious nastiness of misogynistic, racist haters. And so it came to pass that she then failed at something else, to add to the growing list of failures, the collection of Loserville. For Robert Folker, reporting in the Daily Mail, tells us that this one's wife has closed down her online store, where she handpicked a collection of clothes for cash. It appears that this one's wife has quietly shut down her Shop My website, which sold items such as a $26 grey t-shirt, all the way through to $2,000 silk gowns. Shop My is a platform for top creators to earn affiliate cash from recommending products. Thus, once again, this one's wife couldn't actually be bothered to put the proper spade work in, and what she did instead was that she made recommendations and then sought to earn money off the back of affiliation. A parasite, in other words. She joined the online shop way back in March 2025. She recommended button-down shirts, various neutral pieces, a range of accessories, and a number of designer pieces. A gold and diamond pendant from Maya Brenner, a Heidi Merrick dress, and sandals from Saint Laurent and M. Parsons were some of the luxury items on her page. The caption on her profile read, "A hand-picked and curated collection of the things I love. I hope you enjoy them." However, the profile page is now completely blank and states, "This curator has not yet added any collections." Oh dear. This one's wife has buggered things up once again. In March, so barely 6 months ago, she sets up Shop My. And here we are, just having walked into September, that she's closed it down. Failed. Fucking useless. In fact, I think it merits a football chant. Dun, 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 dun. Fucking useless. Dun, 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 dun. Fucking useless. There we are. This is once again indicative of the sense of entitlement of this one's wife and her inability to put any effort in. This is the woman who says, why give it 5 minutes if you're not prepared to give it 5 years, who doesn't even give it 6 months. This one's wife expects instant success. You might think that for a woman somewhere in her mid to possibly late 40s, that she would realise that it requires effort. That every overnight sensation and success was 5 years in the making. That you've got to plug away until you get that break, until there is that hockey stick moment when things take off. It doesn't just happen overnight. Even ones that seemingly come out of nowhere benefit from the consequence of having a massive machine behind them. It just doesn't happen as a consequence of the universe manifesting it. But this one's wife, because she's deluded, lazy, and operates through magical thinking, really does believe that if she does something, it ought to become an instant success because it's her. In the way she stated in Australia, "I can't believe that I'm not being paid for doing a walkabout," she simply thinks that if she puts her name to something, it ought to sell out because it's her. Irrespective of that being such a naive way of doing business, and the fact that many people are not interested in her or dislike her, she still doesn't get it. And I know many of you find that perplexing. But the fact is, her base mindset is, I'm wonderful, everybody loves me. And if you don't, well, are you sure about that? Are you sure you're not dissing my show and then going off and doing a spaghetti skillet somewhere? You see, even when there's clear evidence of people saying, "You're absolute pants, woman. You're a disgrace to the royal family. You're a joke person," she still thinks, "Yeah, you might say that about me, but I think you really love me, don't you? You're just saying that because you're in denial. You fancy me secretly, don't you?" Or, if she doesn't go down that route, then she simply dismisses the individual as being a racist or a hater. The fact is, as a consequence of her narcissism, she believes that success should come to her the following day, and when it doesn't, she simply becomes bored and doesn't continue. She's not prepared to put the graft in, like some narcissists do. She, with her rampant sense of entitlement, expects that she should receive that success as a matter of right. And when it doesn't happen, as once again it hasn't in relation to Shop My because she hasn't put the effort in, she then just closes it down. She won't learn from it. She won't think, maybe I need to actually start putting more effort in. After all, she already thinks that she works really hard, but it's quite clear that she doesn't, and she has such a strange concept of what hard work is because of her narcissism. Accordingly, we're able to rack up another failure, and this time she shuts up shop in relation to the Shop My Store because she's lazy and she cannot be bothered to put the effort in. With the result, it's another failure for the Duchess of Unsuccessfulness. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.